Video, I'm going to show you how to create some basic drum patterns in Logic Pro. Okay, the first thing we're going to get you to do is to click File, New from Template. If this message pops up, you press Close, and if this, when you see this screen, you need to select Basic Beat, and it should open up a project that looks like this. Now, if we play this project, we will hear that bar number 1 is programmed with a basic rock drum beat. The first thing that we're going to do, guys, is we're going to repeat this basic rock beat so that it lasts for the entire 4 bars. And the easiest way to do that is just to highlight all of the notes here in the piano roll and then press Command R. And that will repeat. I've done Command R 3 times, and that has filled up all 4 bars with the basic rock beat. Now, it's worth noting here at this point that each one of these little rectangles represents a 16th note. So if I was to do this and I activate my pencil tool by holding down Command, if I activate my pencil tool and draw 4 consecutive rectangles, then the rhythm that we have here in the hi-hats is ticka ticka t t t t t t. Now I could also show you if I did this. This is ticka t t t t t t t. So basically, as soon as we have 2 of these rectangles side by side, we're creating 16th notes. Okay, I just wanted to make that clear. Now, after you've achieved the basic rock beat for 4 bars, what we're going to do now is click up here inside the Arrange window and then go Command R again. And this has repeated my basic rock beat pattern now next door. I'm going to move this little cycle region now so that I'm focusing on the second drum pattern here. And what I'm going to do with this second drum pattern is I'm going to just slightly complicate the drum pattern. So instead of just continuous TTs, I might have tickety, tickety, TT, TT, tickety, tickety, TT, and then I might end with a tar. Now, remember guys, drum patterns sound most effective when we can hear patterns within the various drum kit parts. So we've got this cool little 2-bar pattern occurring here. I don't know why that sounds like a bass now. I guess that's because that's selected. There we go. So what you can do as well, guys, is I'm just going to actually select the second half here. If I click F sharp, it selects all the hi-hats. So now if I go Command R, it's just repeated what was in the first 2 bars, now in the second 2 bars. And I also might want to add a little bit of interest here in the bass drum as well. So I might go T, boom, boom, crack, boom. And I'll continue that pattern like this, okay? And we just continue that pattern throughout the whole 4 bars, which is really what's going to make an effective drum kit pattern. Now, as soon as we've modified the second pattern a little bit, don't overcook it. We just want a little bit, because what we're going to do now is select this pattern here and go Command R. So now I've copied it next door. And now I'm going to move this cycle region over again. And now I'm going to just slightly embellish this pattern even more. So this time I might actually add some other elements. Okay, like this, when I have a cowbell pattern that I like. Oh, I like that, so I'm just going to highlight it all and then go Command R. Just be careful when you do Command R that it actually repeats from the point that you intended. So I might just repeat this for the whole thing. And what can sound pretty cool as well is just at the very end of your 4-bar pattern if you do something slightly different. So I might do that. So when we get to the end, and then it just loops back again. Okay, so we've done that. And now I'm going to grab this third pattern here and I'm going to go Command R again. If Command R doesn't work, remember boys, another way that you can do this is if you hold down Option and then click and drag, that also copies as well. Sometimes Command R doesn't behave the way you want to, so holding down Option while you click and drag is another way of doing that. Okay, so now here I am in my very fourth pattern, my fourth and final pattern here. I'm going to move this across, and this should be the most complicated pattern of all. So I might just modify the kick pattern. Remember, activate your pencil tool by holding down Command. So I've just got a slightly more complicated kick drum pattern. And then at the end, I might just go, in the final bar that is, I might just do quarter notes, crotchets, ta, 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 ta. And I might do a slightly more complicated snare drum pattern as well. Okay, and what you can also do here, guys, if you find yourself with enough time, is you can change the individual velocity of certain notes. So let's say I want every beat 4 on my snare drum to be louder, right? I can select every beat 4 by holding down Shift and clicking on all the notes that I want to select. Okay, and that does that. And then I can change the velocity here of those notes, just the ones that I've selected, and that creates a more kind of realistic human feel. I can do the same with the cowbell. I could just select these notes in every bar, which is on the end of 2, so I can select that, oops, not that, so unclick it. Now I've got all my cowbells selected on the end of 2, and I can turn the velocity up on those notes too. It just creates a little bit more of a realistic human feel. Let's have a listen to that. And there you go, and that's what we should be aiming for. So the first pattern should be nothing but the basic rock beat. The second one is a little bit more complicated. The third one, more complex again, and then the fourth one should be the most complicated, and you know, also with some velocity changes here as well, which you can do velocity changes for all of your patterns. So there you go, boys. Enjoy.